Hey, it's Joel. This is the Prusa Mini. We recently reviewed this, and of course we talked about the thermistor on the bed and how it's a blinking minus 15. There's a break in the wire, and in the review I talked about the Prusa Mark II. This is the Mark II. This is what Sydney printed her Pikachu army on. There's history here. But we're gonna tear it apart. We're gonna take the thermistor from this bed, and we're gonna put it on this bed, and we're gonna see if it works. And I'm excited to show you right here on 3D Printing Nerd. A portion of this episode is sponsored by Skillshare, and because of that, I get to talk to you about cheese. I'm not kidding. Details later. Oh, I guess it's time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
So this is blinking minus 15, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good. Well, first I'm gonna power this off because that's appropriate. And I'm gonna remove the power, and then I'm gonna come over here. This is the Mark II. Oh man. Look at that! I did a video where I said, can you put a BuildTech build plate, or the flexible build sheet and the magnetic build plate on the Mark II? And I did. And they sent me this custom 3D Printing Nerd. Look at that.
That's special.
That is special. That was when Kayla worked there. The problem is, to get to the screws, to take the bed off, you have to take the BuildTech sheet off. We are literally gonna take this apart. Parts, I think, from this are gonna be put on my Prusa Bear kit. I got a kit from Jason at LDO Motors, and I think I'm gonna put it together at some point. But part of it is gonna be scavenged parts from this machine. Look at that. So to get to the screws on the Mark II build plate, you do have to take off the PEI sheet. Or, I mean, you can just try to poke through it. Okay, I think we're gonna have to remove the PEI sheet. Well, at least that'll take that screw out. Oh, you know what? I wonder. So the thermistor is right there. So 1, 2, and 3. Oh, and then the belt. Can't forget the belt. Man, it's been a while since I've had to dive into one of these, but this has the, let's see, the belts that are just, here, have a look. The belt is just kind of locked into place, and so if we can, there we go. Now what we need to do is get into this box back here and disconnect the thermistor. So the white cable is the thermistor. This is a 285 piece of nylon, and that provides some rigidity to the cable bundle. And that's what gives it a nice sort of spring back. If it was just relying on the wires themselves to provide the rigidity and the spring back, then it would introduce more stress to the wires, I think. There we go. And now the bed itself, there we go. There is one screw, if I remember right. Bingo. There we go. Have a look. So here's the white cable for the thermistor. If we follow it into the board, it's right there. That's it. Now that we have it free from the brain, we want to get it out of here. And what we can do is remove this X platform. We don't actually, it looks like it's going to be easier to get to those screws. So let's do that. Oh no. There we go. So obviously while I'm doing this, I'm going at it a little bit haphazardly. And that's on purpose because I know I'm going to be rebuilding this machine. If you were going to snipe a thermistor from, say, a functioning Mark III, Mark III's, or another machine that uses the same thermistor, then you might want to be slightly more careful in the methodology you use to take it apart. And I just know if I break anything, I can just buy one for $7 and print it solid. But we're not going to break it. This is actually going to work, and I'm going to be supremely happy about it. So if you look at this thermistor, this is Kapton tape over some silver tape, and I think that has to do with protecting it and isolating it from surrounding heat. If I'm wrong, you'll be sure to let me know in the comments. I do have more Kapton tape, so I can put a fresh piece on. I'm going to try and reuse as much as this as I can. So there's our thermistor right there. What I'm going to do is now prep the Prusa Mini. It looks like, because we're using the magnetic sheet, these just need to be undone, and we should be able to lift that plate up. Do I have the right size? Probably not. So this Prusa Mini has star drive for the screws holding on the bed. The other Prusa Mini, as part of the review, does not. It has Allen drive. So I don't know if this was the review unit. I don't remember if this is the one I purchased, but regardless, Husky tools. Look at that. Husky 55-piece ratcheting socket and bit driver set. I had to dig deep into the drawers here, and I found the correct star drive. Look at that. It's even got ratcheting action.
That's great.
There we go. You ready? You ready to watch this?
No.
Oh,
How'd that
good.
feel?
That was satisfying. I guess I didn't need the ratcheting action because these screws are so super tiny. So if we carefully lift and rotate, there we go. So you can see the magnets that are being used. And look at this. You see the Kapton tape. You see the piece of silver tape or metallic tape, and then you see a big kind of space in between the wires for the thermistor. And this, I believe, makes it so there's less chance of a false heat reading. I believe it makes the thermistor more accurate. Could be wrong. And I'm pretty certain if I am wrong, someone on the internet will tell me. Did I guess right? I did. Oh, hallelujah. So the bed wire bundle is right here. The thermistor has, this should be fun.
Nice.
So the Prusa Mini has a plug that looks like this. And so the thermistor isn't, it's not it doesn't have a polarized plug, but I think these are the same. I think this one is a locking one, and I think this one is just freeform, and it might fit. It might fit, maybe. I guess we'll find out. Look at that, 007 edition.
Maybe it was for me.
Are you 007?
I get called Sean Connery a lot.
Unfortunately, he has passed.
Yeah, I know.
There we go. So if you look, the leads are on the bottom, connecting through with the pads on top. There is some controversy over this, with some saying this is bad, some saying this is okay. This isn't typically how I would connect a circuit, but I'm going to leave it as intended for now. So we'll see what happens. This sort of wire wrap is kind of nice. Look at that.
Just came right up.
That's kind of nice. Super reusable too. So then with this, just kind of lift up that Kapton tape, and the silver tape will stay. Ooh. And this was a lot harder to take off, so you know that this is a lot newer. So we've disconnected it from the board. So what we can do is lift an edge and have a look. There we go. So it's really, oh, hey, you know what? Look at that. This tape survived. We can actually reuse this. So have a look. That's the thermistor there. And it's just able to relay a certain number to the brain. And the brain takes that number and it can translate that to a temperature. Kind of neat. And look, that little bulb at the end just presses right into there. And also, if you look, that plastic that shields the wire is already super small. And the wire inside is almost like a human hair, maybe a little bit bigger. And so for it to break, it's really not all that uncommon. Let's see, let me get my knife. Now have a look at what the residue the tape's leaving. So you can tell that's been on there for years. So what's interesting, if you have a look, there's no little space between the wires. So the factory install of this thermistor on the Mark II was different than the Mini. So before we do any work, I want to test and see if it fits within that plug. Like I said, it's not polarized, so it can go either way. It's super hard to see. I'll tell you what, I have an idea. Okay, so this, we're gonna see if this fits. You're just gonna have to believe me that it fits. Okay, that's good news. That's super good news. So now what we wanna do is install it the same way. So it was between the power wires, and it came to this point right here. And so what I'm gonna do really carefully is open up these wires, just super carefully, just enough to kind of create that space in between. There we go, there we go. So now what I can do is take that silver tape that I saved. I'm gonna route the wire so it's not going, it's between the magnets, and that bulb at the end is gonna be right there in that circle. There we go. So if I do that, there's magnets on this build plate. So have a look. So the silver tape is on, and you can tell that there's, let's see, that's a crease in the tape there, but there is some space between the wire, and it goes right there to the bulb. So we should be good to go. And then just to wrap it up, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take this capped on tape that I have. It should be easy enough to put on there. And it's okay if the capped on tape goes over a magnet. I'm not too worried about that. And just in case, because my Kapton tape isn't as wide as what was there before, I'm just gonna put another piece on. It's not gonna hurt anything, and it'll allow for greater coverage of the silverback tape. There we go. Well, that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. I'm gonna put this part back on because I know this went under here, and the clamp here kind of clamped it into place. So, oh geez, this is not the easiest stuff to put on. How do you do this? This is a lot more difficult than it looks.
One eternity later.
Well, we're at the point where this was on. That's actually a lot harder than I thought it would be. So that's exciting. Let's see, this, I believe, goes up top like that to cover. And this goes in the bottom. It's actually, have a look. So it's an interlocking sort of mechanism. You put the bottom one on, and then the top one goes on, slides into place, and it's got a dovetail. Dovetail, right? Yeah. There we go. So now it's on. I can add this screw right here. Awesome. Should I test for a reading?
Yes.
Okay, let me get this back on. Just to see what happens. I will plug this in, power it on, and we'll see if it works. And we have a reading. That's fantastic. I'm actually really happy about that. Okay, now we power it off because we're still gonna poke it a bit. But we have a reading. Now we just need to get this bed back on. Replacing a thermistor is one of those things where if you have a 3D printer, you will eventually have to do something like this. It's pretty standard maintenance. It's a small sensor with really, really small wires that's used to measure temperature. And the wire itself is not under load, but it's continually flexing on these i3 beds over and over and over again, tens of thousands of times easily. So while this one was technically kind of easy, we did run into some speed bumps, and luckily we were able to kind of get past those, but just be prepared, right? Just be prepared that if you're doing this, you're not gonna get frustrated by failure, and you're gonna take your time, and you're just gonna get the job done. There's always gonna be things that you run into along the way, but if you keep at it, don't get frustrated, and just learn from your mistakes, you should get yourself back to a place where your printer is now good to go. So we'll plug it in just to verify one more time, but I think we're at a really good place. We have a new thermistor in the Prusa Mini, and we took it from a Mark II that we're gonna rebuild at some point. And if I wiggle this wire, the temperature stays. That's great. That's great. This Prusa Mini, just like the other one, is now ready to print all the things once again, which is good because I still have more parts to print for the Alexander Chappelle camera arm. This is the part of the episode where we get to talk about our sponsor, Skillshare. And it's great because of this, I get to talk to you about cheese. First though, Skillshare is an online learning community for anyone who wants to take part in learning more awesome stuff. Classes are cool because they fit your schedule and your skill level. In fact, most classes clock in at less than 60 minutes. Plus, premium membership gives you access to thousands of them. The one I want to talk about though, and I'm really stupid excited about this, is by Elena Karp, and it's called, let me make sure I got the title right. Yes, The Perfect Grilled Cheese. This is a class in how to craft and create what Elena Karp believes is the perfect grilled cheese. And just the way that she goes about it just makes my mouth water because grilled cheese sandwiches are wonderful. One of the things that I thought was interesting in her class is she talked about add-ons, caramelized onions, fig jam, and pesto. So caramelized onions and we just don't get along well, and pesto I'm kind of allergic to. Fig jam, that could be good. The sweetness paired with the crunchy savory of the bread and the dairy of the cheese. I like that. But I'd like to counter with my own add-ons of bacon and melted cheese to dip the grilled cheese sandwich in.
Oh, yum.
Well, listen, I got a lot of work I need to get back to. Printers need fixing. You know the drill. But while I do that, why don't you click the link in the description? The first 1,000 of you that do that get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership.
Yum.
You know, it goes without saying, I appreciate Skillshare as a sponsor for this episode. Thank you very much. And clicking that link does help the channel. But at the same time, I talked about grilled cheese, and I would be remiss if I didn't remind you that if you make a grilled cheese sandwich and you're proud of it, I encourage you to grab a selfie with it and tag me on the socials. I'm at Joel Telling pretty much everywhere. All right, this talk of cheese has me hungry. I'm gonna go put this one back and then make a grilled cheese sandwich. We'll see you online. Well, listen, I hope you learned something, and I hope that one of the things you learned was that it's not necessarily difficult. It might take a little bit of time, but you can do it, I promise. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you're awesome. Don't forget to hug each other more, and from a safe distance, high five.
Nailed it.
Nice.
That's pretty good,
I'm
right?
glad that worked out well.
Honestly, I didn't treat that with care.
Yeah, wait,
Does it matter though?
Not really,
Yeah.
not really.
it's a little blowed up.
A little bit.
Yeah. Well, and I thought it was a great solution to, you know, you're not using this guy, you want to use that one. Why not?
Well, and this one was scheduled to be rebuilt because I have that bear kit, and so why not?
Yeah, and you can order another thermistor at your leisure.
Right.